Good evening, friends. I think you are, most of you are at exit gate, right? How many of you, students? Very eager to face the professional world. Uh, One small message would like to pass on for you. Over 30 years of working, what I have realized is carving spaces is a basic fundamental of architecture, but then I think very interesting work of Soumitra. I'm sure there is someone who is really sweating out there as an engineer there. Yeah, you are a qualitative engineer. There are there are quantities and formulas which you have to work through for bending moment and whatnot. Uh, there are architects in nature, which obviously I was very intrigued by this. Of course, there is one very interesting example of the nest which should not be, what should not be, is in China as a stadium. I don't have that photo, not very inspiring to show. But the process we have seen, the way this does, is outstanding and unbelievable, because simple grass blades and the whole shelter is made out of it, and it is nomadic. It just for a season, and then next season it is new. So what kind of sustainability we call this as? These are the areas, these are the inspirations, these are the insights where I think we all should develop an eye to look at. And another small guy like spider. These many of you must be knowing because of Google almost. Because information is now abundantly available, but in just insights out of those information becomes a knowledge. And this particular thread, which is a protein thread, is supposed to be stronger than steel, almost nears the carbon fiber in terms of tensile strength. It's a very abstract assembly of threads, but then it's quite intriguing for future, I think. If we are able to marry this with AI-based formulations of functions and construction engineering, we might find something which is tangible by man-made things tomorrow. Or take this for splinters and mud and dried leaves, and you get beaver house. Quite inspiring. I forgot the termite mound, which was the most favorite of mine, which has constant temperature of 28 degrees irrespective of the season temperature outside. Nevertheless, now we start looking at man-made things, stone, and I think few years back it was no separate faculty as such as an architect. I think architect and engineer and the constructor all were one. It was generally referred as master builder. And stone is, I think, has a continuity of 2000 years of a history of construction. And at the last end, where the stone probably is forgotten as a building material, is one standing example of Gaudi's creation. I think it stopped for some years in 1926, and then thereafter they have restarted. They have been constructing the building over 30 years now, but the new construction is with concrete and steel. And I visited the place. I also had a meeting with the committee in this under a special study. And what they said that we can't do this in stone anymore because of the codes. Now code is another stumble block, and I don't know how codes are devised exactly. Say for example, fire regulations, 30 meters. I don't know who devised 30 meters, and I think Vikas we can take this up by storm with development control rules and regular authorities. I mean, as a blue sky fight on right and wrong, on regulations, because it is going to shape tomorrow's city, right? Uh, so, sad part is the new construction is not allowed with the old method because of codes. But then what about the old, so many old buildings existing, and then you are keeping people's life at danger, right? We have to ask ourselves about more mature methods with the same old materials, but how we can find the way forward instead of saying no or restricting. Bricks. I mean, there are just two examples. There are thousands of them. Here comes the engineer and the concrete. There was quite a romance with the concrete, which we don't even find today, but this was long back by Nervi. It's a concrete shell. Stunning trees, again in concrete. Another form of concrete in flats, rectangles by FLW. And here comes a guy who is 3 in 1. But he has done some stunning work, and his work of architecture is influenced by art, really speaking. And his engineering is quite an expressive engineering, not the optimal engineering as such. I will tell you one more example, which is the next, which is really optimal engineering. And this is really artful engineering. But this has its own place to affect the city skyline, which is almost doesn't exist in our public architecture. We have to shake and wake the bureaucracy to inspire at least the mechanism to create public infrastructure, which is being a prominence for future of all of us when we step outside the house and go to spaces like roads and stations and bridges and auditoriums. So, how many of such structures where thousands of crores are spent, and then what are they creating out of it, and what kind of a execution system of tender regulations? Again, because if we can do something about this. My topic is a little different, where architecture of tomorrow is not only affected by engineering or spaces design and planning, but also invoking regulatory bodies and authorities, whereby I think regulations will challenge all possibilities of architecture and engineering to test themselves and invoke to go to next level. Because time has come for a technology to provide anything possible, like 1,000-meter span is possible. But then how it should be is the question. I think DP rules will shape it up. It could be a very interesting example to allow FSI 4 and 5. I think I was talking about the Hyderabad model, right? Where there is no limit, you were saying. And it's quite interesting. But then some more intelligent additions could be done. Suppose we can do AI-based parametrics and put in the rules and see the outcome on the city layout and how inspiring, intriguing it can be with the same FSI 4 system. You would be surprised. Has anybody idea about the Fort area in Mumbai? What is the FSI? It's such a spacious, wide roads, corridors. The FSI exceeds 1. And it's really interesting to see how they have handled at that stage during colonial time. Again, as the materials are turning light and sustainable, is another simple example. where bamboo and paper tubes can make wonders with lightweight membranes. Here is the stark, intensive, force-intensive engineering. He is one of the engineers who is the architect of many bridges in Germany. I happened to visit such place, and it's sheerly a play of naked engineering forces. This is another philosophy of design which I think I'm very impressed with, and would like to present only one small work of our team, which is the Vishwa Bangla Gate, Calcutta. It's in the middle of the road, which is spanning about 100 meters, height of about 60 meters, and it's a circular shape building, which is, of course, this is the process during erection. And the staging during such kind of constructions, the staging analysis at such time is very interesting. So we just made an interesting staging analysis, which I would like to mention in this slide. That this is in the middle of the road, and it's a 6-lane highway coming from one side of the building. I will just show. Yeah. On one side, you come from the airport and turn right to the city. And just to get an idea of the spatiality of this particular structure. And the staging analysis was, as this was in the middle of the city, in the middle of the road, we made a staging analysis removing this support as if it is knocked out, because it was existing there for a month almost. And imagine the main support knocked out during the construction for such a heavy column. And so it was designed to stand cantilever during such accident. So staging analysis during construction also plays important role. And then we completed all 4 arches, and no scaffolding was allowed. So we just found out methods of putting the entire building skin right above in the air. It's the minimalism play of membranes, glass, small amount of glass, and entirely the steel. So this is a pretty useless kind of a building standing in the center of the road, but maybe a city icon like is the interior space. Yeah, it's about 200 meter of a round building. It's 4.5 meter wide. It's a gallery and restaurant. So just would like to say that dreams are fine and passion is also all right. These are the driving forces of architectural creations you would do. But then inspiration, even I, while sitting here, collected the cookies tree or cracked concrete from Soumitra. But that's a continuous process of inspiration. What matters is how much you are ready to perspire. I think that will make your tomorrow's reality. And Jadhav sir is not here, but he was mentioning about the theory and practice. I would like to say that practice in such a way that your practice someday becomes the new theory for a coming world. Thank you.